Morning. Jack is sitting in the kitchen with a cup of coffee, looking at the clock. Emma runs into the room in her gym clothes, quickly tying her hair into a ponytail. "Are you in the gym again?" asks Jack, trying to keep calm. "Yeah, it's leg day," Emma says, checking the contents of her gym bag. "We were planning to have breakfast together," he adds, but it doesn't seem to stop her. "Jack, I can't miss training. The coach said consistency is the key." She gives him a quick kiss on the cheek and disappears out the door. Jack sits alone in silence. Evening. Jack comes home from work and the house is empty. A note on the table. "There was a delay at the gym. Have dinner without me, Emma." Jack sighs heavily, heats up his food and sits down to eat dinner alone. The following days become similar to each other. Jack notices that Emma is spending more and more time at the gym. The weekends they used to spend together are now filled with her training and marathons. One evening, Jack decides to talk. "Emma, this is already some kind of obsession. We don't spend time together anymore. You are always in the gym." "This is not an obsession, Jack. It's my hobby that helps me stay in shape," she answers, looking away. "But you lost your balance. Our relationship is suffering." "Not true. It's just that you don't understand how important it is to me," Emma answers sharply and goes to the bedroom. Jack is left alone, staring at the door that closed behind her. Jack sat in silence for a long time, remembering the times when he and Emma had first met. She was always in great shape. Back in university, Emma was the girl everyone noticed. Active, self-confident, always one step ahead of others. She competed in fitness competitions and even taught group workouts at the student gym. But after graduation, their lives changed. A career began, Jack and Emma got married, new responsibilities appeared. At first, she still tried to find time for training, but the schedule became more and more tight. "I just don't have time," she said when she missed another training session. Work and household chores took up almost all of her time. Visits to the gym became less and less until they disappeared altogether. Jack remembered her saying once, "Sometimes I miss sports, but that's all in the past." A year ago, Emma came home late, looking upset. She took off her coat and went into the bedroom without a word. Jack followed her. "What happened?" "We had a corporate photo session today." "I saw myself in the photo." "I'm not the same, Jack," she said, looking away. Jack hugged her, trying to comfort her. "You are beautiful as always." "You're just saying that to calm me down." "I can see the changes. I used to inspire others, but now I can't even force myself to do something." The next day, Emma bought a gym membership and started working out. At first, it seemed positive. She regained her confidence, became more energetic. Jack was happy for her. But over time, her return to sports turned into an obsession. She stopped coming to family dinners, canceled several of their trips together, and even ignored meetings with friends. Jack also always kept fit. Even before they met, training was an integral part of his life. Even after marriage, he regularly went to the gym to relieve stress and maintain health. When Emma started training again, Jack was happy for her. He thought that this could become their joint activity. Once at dinner, he suggested, "Listen, what if we go to the same gym together? That would be fun. They could even train together." Emma, who he rarely saw at dinner due to her schedule, shrugged. "Jack, this is my time. I want to be alone in these moments." "But we could—" "No," she interrupted. "I don't want to mix it with our relationship. The gym is only for me. It is my time." Jack was surprised by her answer, but didn't argue. As the weeks passed, Emma focused more and more on her training. Jack continued to go to another gym, but he began to worry about why she was so adamantly against them training together. One day, after his own class, he was returning home and happened to see Emma near her hall. She was with some man, a tall, athletic trainer who was smiling and saying something to her. Emma seemed to be in a good mood. They were too close for his liking. Jack didn't come, but it stirred him inside. That evening, when he returned home, he decided to carefully broach the subject. "I saw you near the gym today," he began. Emma looked up from her phone. "Yes, and what?" "You were with someone. A coach?" "Yes, this is my coach. I said that I work with him." "You look very close," he hinted. Emma rolled her eyes. "Jack, are you really jealous of my coach?" "This is funny. He helps me achieve results." "But why don't you want to train with me?" he asked directly. Emma thought for a moment before answering. Because it is different. I feel different with you. And in the gym, I want to concentrate. Her words disturbed Jack. He was beginning to sense that there was more to her obsession with the gym than simply wanting to get back in shape. This evening, after their conversation, Jack could not sleep for a long time. Something about Emma's behavior made him nervous. Her coldness, distance, reluctance to share time in the gym. He couldn't shake his anxiety. When Emma took a shower after another evening workout, Jack happened to notice her phone left on the kitchen table. He hesitated. I shouldn't do this, he thought. But his doubts and suspicions prevailed. He took the phone, turned on the screen, and saw a recent message in the messenger. It was sent by a man he didn't know. His contact name was saved as Mike Hall. Jack clicked on the message. What he saw made his heart sink. The correspondence contained a photo of a male genital organ, which was accompanied by the text. Maybe today after cardio? Emma replied. Mike, don't be so bold. You know I'm married. But her next message made him hold his breath. You can make training interesting, though. Jack felt his hands shake. He continued to scroll through the correspondence. Their messages were full of flirtations, as well as hints that they spent more time together than just training. Damn, muttered Jack, covering his head with his hands. A few minutes later, Emma returned from the shower, wrapped in a towel. She stopped when she saw Jack sitting on the couch with her phone in his hands. What are you doing with my phone? She asked sharply. What am I doing? Jack's voice trembled with anger. Are you seriously asking me this after what I saw? Emma froze, then moved closer. Jack, you shouldn't have. I shouldn't have. And you had to? Flirting with your trainer? Accept him. His photo? Emma looked away sharply, but didn't object. It's not what you think, she finally said, but her voice was weak. Then explain, what is between you? She paused, looking at the floor. He is just a coach. I don't even know why he did it. I did not respond to such hints. Do you think I'm blind? I saw you reply. I saw you smiling at him in the hall. Did you distance yourself from me for this? For the sake of flirting with some Mike? Emma looked at him, tears forming in her eyes. It's not that simple, Jack. You don't understand how I feel. Then explain to me, he shouted. I feel lost, she whispered. I returned to the hall because I wanted to feel stronger again, but it all became something more than just training. Jack jumped to his feet. Something more? Emma, this is not just a hall. It ruined our relationship. A few days after their argument, Emma began to feel strange. Constant fatigue, nausea, dizziness. At first, she thought it was due to grueling training and diet. But when the symptoms persisted, she decided to take a pregnancy test. She was standing in the bathroom that morning, holding a positive test. Her heart beat faster. She was 10 weeks pregnant. That evening, Emma was sitting on the couch looking at Jack. He came home from work, looking tired and still tense from their last conversation. We need to talk, she said when he entered the room. Jack sat down looking at her intently. I'm pregnant, Jack. He froze for a moment, not knowing what to say. Pregnant? He repeated, as if not believing his ears. Yes, I found out today. Jack looked at her. He had always dreamed of this moment, but now he felt no joy. His face remained tense. Are you sure that this is my child? Emma opened her mouth, shocked at his words. How can you say that? How? Emma, you put me in this situation yourself. After what I saw on your phone, how can I be sure? Emma stood up, trying to control herself. Jack, I have never cheated on you. What you saw was just a stupid flirtation. I'm sorry I let it happen, but it meant nothing. Nothing? The photos, the messages, the way you hide your life from me. It feels like betrayal. Emma took a step towards him, tears forming in her eyes. Jack, I swear I didn't cheat on you, but if you don't believe me, I'm ready to take a paternity test as soon as it becomes possible. Jack was silent. Her words sounded sincere, but doubts did not leave him. Will you really do it? He asked. Yes, Emma answered firmly. I want you to know the truth. Night. Jack sat on the edge of the bed in the dark bedroom. Emma was already asleep, but her breathing seemed labored to him, as if she too could not calm down. Jack was holding a photo from their wedding. He looked at their smiling faces and tried to understand when things went wrong. His head was filled with thoughts. Can I believe her? Can just a friend send photos like this? It's not normal. But if she's telling the truth and I doubt it without reason, I'm destroying our family. What will happen to this child if we break up? Can I be a good parent if we are not together? Jack put his head in his hands. He was tormented not only by the situation with Emma, but also by thoughts about the child. I can't decide her fate. She deserves a complete family. But how can I be a good father if I don't trust her mother? In the morning, Emma saw Jack sitting in the kitchen, holding a cup of coffee that he never finished. His face was gloomy and his gaze absent. Jack, she began quietly, sitting down next to him. He looked at her, his eyes filled with weariness and doubt. I don't know how I can stand it, Emma, he said honestly. I want to believe you. I want to believe that you have not done anything wrong. But those messages, I just can't forget it. Emma took his hand. Jack, I know what it looks like. I made a mistake allowing Mike to act like that. I understand why you doubt it, but I swear to you there was nothing between us. Jack looked into her eyes. And if we break up, what will happen to our child? Emma shuddered. I don't want us to break up, she said. I want us to be together, Jack, for us, for our child. But I can't convince you by force. If you can't forgive and trust me, I don't know how we'll get through this. She stood up, her eyes glistening with tears. But I am ready to take a paternity test. If it helps you understand that I'm telling the truth, I'm ready. Jack was silent as he watched her leave the kitchen. His heart was torn in two. He knew she was struggling. But can he trust her again? The following days were tense. Emma made an appointment with her doctor to discuss the possibility of a paternity test during her pregnancy. Jack tried to concentrate on his work, but his doubts did not leave him alone. One evening, while looking through old family photos on his phone, he saw a video of Emma laughing while holding their dog. Her smile was so genuine, her eyes shining with love. Could she really betray me? Thought Jack. The day came when Emma and Jack were to receive the results of the paternity test. They sat in the doctor's office in tense silence. Emma clasped her hands in her lap, trying to hide her emotions. Jack sat a little off to the side, his face tense and serious. The doctor entered the office with an envelope in his hands. So the results are ready, he said in a calm voice. I double-checked to make sure everything was correct. The doctor opened the envelope and, running his eyes over the document, raised his head. Jack, you are the child's biological father. Emma sighed in relief, tears welling up in her eyes. She looked at Jack, trying to find at least some emotion in his gaze, but he just nodded. Thank you, doctor, he said dryly. After the hospital, they returned home in oppressive silence. Emma finally couldn't stand it and stopped in the middle of the living room. Jack, I don't know what else I can do. I proved to you that the child is yours. What more do you need for you to trust me? He stopped and looked at her. It's not only about the child, Emma. This is about us. About how you let Mike act like that. How you moved away from me. How you hid part of your life. Emma paused with a sigh. I made a mistake, Jack. I agree, but I didn't cheat on you. I just wanted to feel needed. Confident. I didn't realize how much it would affect you. How can I trust you again? He asked, and his voice broke. How can I know that this will not happen again? Emma stepped towards him, her voice softening. I can't make you trust me, Jack. But I can show you that I am ready to change. If for this I need to change the gym or even stop training, I will do it. Jack looked at her, and his eyes flashed with sadness. I don't want you to change yourself because of me. But I want us to be honest with each other. That same evening, Emma stopped training with Mike, cut off all contact with him, and apologized to Jack for her behavior. She realized that their relationship was more important than her ambitions or sense of freedom. Jack, in turn, tried to find the strength to forgive and trust again. He started going to the same gym as Emma and invited her to train together. It was strange at first, but gradually they began to reconnect. One evening, while sitting on the couch, Jack looked over at Emma, who had her hand on her stomach. Who do you think it will be? He asked, smiling. I think it's a girl, Emma answered warmly. Jack hugged her, and they both realized that despite all the difficulties, they were ready to fight for their family. It's been a few weeks since Emma cut off all contact with Mike and started training with Jack. Their relationship gradually changed. They both learned that trust is not rebuilt overnight. Jack still sometimes found himself checking her phone, even though he didn't find anything suspicious there now. He hated the feeling, but he couldn't just turn off his doubts. Emma, in turn, tried to be more open. She talked about her workouts, shared plans for the day, and even showed how their daughter is growing in her belly. One day, when they were working out together, Jack noticed someone from the gym walk up to Emma and say hello. It was a different trainer, but Jack suddenly felt a slight flash of jealousy. Emma, seeing his reaction, approached him and took his hand. "Jack, there's one thing you need to understand," she said quietly. "I made a mistake, but I love you. You are my husband, and I want to be with you." These words made him relax. "I also want to believe you," he said. "It's just difficult after everything that happened." Emma suggested seeing a family therapist. She understood that it would be difficult to restore trust without the help of a specialist. Jack was hesitant at first, but eventually agreed. In the first session, the therapist asked, "What worries you the most now?" Jack did not hesitate. "I am tormented by the thought that this may happen again. That I wouldn't be able to trust her, and our marriage would be in jeopardy again." Emma sighed, tears filling her eyes. "I understand why you feel that way," she said. "But I am ready to work on it. I want you to see that I'm not hiding anymore." The therapist nodded and gave them some exercises. Spend more time together, talk about your feelings even if it hurts, and plan for a future together. One evening, they sat at home discussing the future of their child. "Have you thought about what name to give if it's a girl?" Emma asked, stroking her belly. Jack thought, "Maybe Lily or Sophie?" Emma smiled. "Lily sounds great." This simple conversation became an important moment for them. For the first time in a long time, they did not talk about their problems, but about something bright that unites them. Several months have passed. Jack and Emma's relationship became more stable. Working out together and seeing a therapist helped ease the tension. Emma is already 6 months pregnant, and their daughter has become a real symbol of a new beginning for both of them. But one day, an unexpected obstacle appeared. Emma walked into the kitchen with the phone in her hands. She looked tense. "Jack, we need to talk," she said, sitting down across from him. "What happened?" he asked, raising his head from the laptop. She showed him the screen. It was a message from Mike. "Emma, I'm still thinking about you. If you ever want to talk or just see you, you know where to find me." Jack felt his face go cold. "Why is he writing again?" he asked, trying to keep his voice calm. "I don't know. I don't answer him," said Emma. "I already deleted him from my contacts, and I don't know how he got my new number." "Are you sure that there was nothing else?" asked Jack, who began to have doubts again. Emma sighed deeply. "Jack, I swear to you, I cut off all contact with him. I will show you how I block his number." She pressed a few buttons on the phone while Jack watched her actions. But this time, not only anger, but also fear appeared in his eyes. "I don't want this man to become a threat to us again," he said. "I simply cannot go through this a second time." Emma decided to have a serious talk with Mike to dot all the dots. She reported this to Jack so that he would know her every move. The next day, she met Mike at a cafe near the gym. Jack, though nervous, agreed to give her space to do so. "Mike, we need to talk," Emma began as soon as she sat down. "I'm glad to see you," he replied with a smile that she now perceived as manipulative. "I am not interested in discussing the past. I'm here to tell you, don't write to me or try to contact me again. This is final." Mike looked surprised, but quickly regained his usual self-confidence. "Emma, are you saying this because you are afraid of your husband?" "No, I'm saying this because I respect my marriage and I don't want you to be a part of my life." Mike leaned closer. "Do you think that he forgave you? Do you really believe that he will never doubt you?" These words hurt Emma, but she remained calm. "It's none of your business, Mike. Goodbye." She got up and left without looking back. When Emma got home, she told Jack everything that had happened. "I did it because I want you to have no more doubts," she said. Jack listened carefully, then nodded. "I see that you are trying, but it's still hard for me, Emma. It doesn't mean I don't love you. It's just that this process takes time." Emma sat down next to him and took his hand. "I know, and I'm ready to wait until you can trust me again." 3 months have passed. Everything in their lives now revolved around waiting for the birth of their daughter. Jack and Emma, despite all the difficulties, began to return to harmony. Therapy, honest conversations, and time together helped them bond again. One morning, Emma felt the beginning of a seizure. Jack, a little confused but happy, immediately gathered everything he needed and took her to the hospital. In the delivery room, holding Emma's hand, Jack watched their daughter come into the world. As the doctor placed her on Emma's chest, Jack felt his heart sink with love. "She's so beautiful," he whispered, stroking the baby's tiny hand. Emma looked up at him, her eyes glistening with tears. "We did it, Jack." In that moment, all their past quarrels and difficulties seemed distant and unimportant. They now had a new goal: to be good parents for their daughter. Jack and Emma named their daughter Lily. The first days at home were full of worries and joys. Jack got up at night to help care for Lily, and Emma began to trust him on a deeper level again. One evening, when Lily was already asleep, they were sitting on the couch together. Emma rested her head on Jack's shoulder. "You know, Lily's birth changed everything," she said. "Both you and she made me stronger," answered Jack. "At one point, I thought that we would not be able to restore our relationship. But now I see that love is not about everything being perfect. It's about fighting for each other." Emma smiled and hugged him. "I love you, Jack. Thank you for not giving up." "And I love you, Emma." Their life became calmer. Emma started working out at home to spend more time with Lily. Jack, who also found new joy in parenthood, became the initiator of family walks and trips. Although the past sometimes reminded of itself, they learned to communicate openly and not hide their feelings. Their marriage seemed stronger than ever. In the evening, watching Lily fall asleep in the cradle, Jack and Emma held hands. Their family was their greatest victory.